Hi everybody, welcome back on this channel. I know I'm not inside my fabulous transportation. Today's a different one and I have no glasses on. So yes, I just love this new kimono. It's not really a kimono, I don't know what you call it. It's a robe perhaps, but it's actually something you can wear outside too. I mean, anything goes, right? It's springtime. I just love it. So let's talk about femininity. I know I talk about femininity a lot on my channel because it's something that I truly want women to embody as a feminine woman. If you have not watched the previous videos I have done between masculinity and femininity, we have to be able to get out in and out of this energy of yin and yang. And apparently it is a buzzword of society today about women wanting to tap into their feminine energy. Yes, there is such thing as a femininity. We can talk more about it, give you all the tips, but the one thing for sure to become a feminine is to embody within yourself and act as if you have achieved it already. Sometimes the easiest thing to do is probably just act it out. So what are the ways we can be feminine? Grab something, a cup of coffee or a tea. This cup exudes femininity, wouldn't you think? Pink, florals, flowy dresses, a delicate necklace, your hair down, makeup, subtle makeup. I have no lipstick on because I've been drinking this cup of tea. You just do not arrive as a feminine one day. It is something that you tap into. When I was a little girl, I also was able to play a tomboy. There was one point in my life where I just want to have a hat on backwards and just act like a boy. And then eventually I got tired of it. And I said to my friend, I'm done with this thing. It's just not who I am. I always loved dresses, and my mother was a fashionista. She would always dresses us with beautiful dresses on Sundays. And eventually I developed this kind of femininity as a very young age. I love dresses, and I does not enjoy wearing shorts out in the public. Even to this day, I do not like shorts wearing in public. Perhaps it is my upbringing, but something to do with femininity. Every time I wear something that is masculine, like shorts, anything that is bulky, it just shows how masculine you exude. So yes, appearance matter, especially when you want to embody a femininity energy. Therefore, if you want to envelop or embody a femininity energy, you must be careful of the kind of dresses you wear. There are certain types of clothes that you just look like a man. I don't care what you say, but somehow when you dress a certain way, you somehow exude that energy. There's something powerful about the kind of clothing that you choose for your body. Every time I wear something that is dressed, that has florals, it flows, I somehow feel this femininity. It's like a goddess in you that flows out of your body, the way that God created you to be as a woman, a feminine woman. Therefore, if you really want to exude femininity in your energy, you must be careful, choose the style that suits your body type, suits the kind of color that makes you feel confident and feel beautiful. There are certain colors that doesn't look good on me. This is why you must be your own creator. You must curate your own wardrobe that suits well to your body type, the color of your skin, perhaps the way that when there are certain clothes that I just like, I look awful in this one. And you just don't buy things just for the sake of buying them. It's always about quality over quantity. And so anytime you wear something, you have to ask yourself, does this make me feel good? Do I feel confident? Because here's the thing, ladies. I bet you $1 that even though you are not the most confident human being or a woman in the planet, but if you wear the right outfit, the amount of makeup, and you wear these shoes, and when you enter the room, even though you feel insecurity on the inside, instantly, I guarantee you, you feel good about yourself. Just try that. Even if you have the bad days and your days are not going well, if you dressed up for yourself, not trying to impress people, although people are just going to gravitate towards you, because if you have this feminine energy, You are calm, you're confident, you are not going to draw attention because you are so desperate, but gradually people are going to be drawn to you. A woman who is confident in her femininity essence, she will naturally going to attract people around her because desperation is not her cup of tea. But if you're desperate, people are going to despise you. They're just going to reject you. A feminine woman is confident in who she is. She is confident in her own skin. She does not care about what people say or think about her. Another thing to envelop a femininity is that you must be careful about your surroundings. Yes, ladies, sometimes we think that a surrounding, our environment doesn't create this femininity energy. Masculine energy is disorganized. They're sloppy. This is why God created women to help men to get their life in order and to organize their space. Have you not noticed sometimes your husband leave things around and you have to pick it up? If you have boys, you have to remind them, pick up your socks, put in a dirty bin. You have to sort your things, which one is dirty and which one is clean. Because as a feminine woman, we are given this task to make our lives in order. And if you want to embody this femininity, you must be careful in how you curate your space, not just your wardrobe, but the space that you're living in. Every time I see things that are clutter, my brain sometimes hurts. I can't even look at it. Sometimes I can't focus, I cannot function, I cannot think clearly because you're just so focused on those stuff. I'm actually looking at my stuff right now that I need to organize. And this is the difference between masculinity and feminine. A feminine has this natural way of making her surroundings clean, orderly, bringing some fresh flowers or plants, bringing aroma, the kind of ambience that is inviting, that is comforting, because that's exactly why we want to invite this energy. Something that is peaceful and serenity, that every time your husband comes home, he can come home to a place that is relaxing. Because no one, I bet you another dollar, every time I say this, no man would want to come home to a place where so many cluttered spaces everywhere, dishes piled up, laundry everywhere, pile of junk. A man is already stressed out. He already is out there bringing bacon. I know sometimes when you have so many people, children, it's hard for you sometimes as a mother, depending on how many children you have. Of course, there's always exception to the rule, but at the same time, you must strive to have that kind of space, clutter-free the whole way, or trying to keep up with laundry, keeping up with your dishes. And the rule that I have also learned is have a designated space for your keys, for your car keys, and anything that you can, your purses, so that you're not gonna drive yourself crazy of looking for certain items that you can't find. I love to put some specific item in a specific location so that I don't have to look for it. I don't have to scramble and find like, where is it? Maybe it's over here, it's over there. That is a one way. Another thing, as I always talk, is to reassess your wardrobe, ladies, and find out the kind of clothes that you're going to wear in the season, and perhaps put it away if it's not winter. Put away the things that you're no longer going to use for spring or for summer, depending on where you live. Especially when you live that have 4 seasons, then something that you have to get rid of the items that is occupying your space. Another thing is, of course, donating stuff that you don't need. And your fridge, so many times we just leave a leftovers behind, tuck at the back of our fridge, and you wonder why we have no space in our pantry or in our fridge because of this too much food that we don't usually eat. And there are certain times too that when you want to embody femininity is to move your body. Movement is another way for you to invite this femininity energy. It is something to do about the dance that you move. You don't have to be the greatest dancer in the world. You don't have to be the one who is choreographing the dance move on television, but it's something to do with the movement of your body. Especially as women, we carry all this tension on our shoulders, our neck, that sometimes we just want to release all of this negative energy. We are carrying too much stress. And if I am stressed, I am not the most pleasant person to be around with. I will always snap at you. I'm going to have a short circuit, short tempered, because I am carrying this hardness and this masculinity. Because masculine sometimes is very rough. They're very thug. They're very, come on, let's brawl. But as a feminine woman, you must be able to have an open heart and able to move with your body. That's why dancing and stretching is something that opens your heart, it opens your chest, it opens your mind, and it opens your body. Like a ballerina. Have you not seen a ballerina when she dances? Have you seen the Black Swan movie, Natalie Portman? It is something that I really watched that film, and it evokes this femininity. Every time I watch a human being that can dance a ballerina, she's like a swan. She just dances and she moves gracefully, because as a feminine woman, she is able to move with the rhythm of the music. Salsa, Zumba, whatever it is that you enjoy dancing, belly dancing also is another way for you to perform, that it really enables you to reignite this femininity. Especially that we are bombarded with so much things that to be a woman is to be a masculine, so that you will be taken seriously. As I said, there are times that you must envelop that kind of energy as a masculine, but most of the time when you are a nurturing mother, you need to have that feminine energy. As a mother, that is your job, to nurture a baby. This is why God gave us a child to nurture, because man could be sometimes rough, but a woman, she has to be gentle with her little ones. She has to be gentle with her kids, as I said, especially when they're not feeling well. Another way for you to envelop this femininity energy is to reinvent yourself. Not just embodiment, but reinventing yourself. So if you don't like how you behave or how you talk, because feminine women are soft, gentle, not loud, not obnoxious. And this is something that I have to be aware. As I said, I am still in the process of trying to find the balance, because I grew up in a family where you're not allowed to speak. Soft voice, very soft. And then you came into this Western culture, loud, opinionated, because that's exactly the kind of culture that they told us, that the Western culture, as a woman, you must be loud to be heard. You must give your opinion all the time. It depends on the situation. But sometimes when there's no balance, it becomes out of tangent, out of whack, and it creates a problem in your marriage. And I really believe that when we are functioning in our masculine energy, we tend to be loud. We like to scream at the top of our lungs because we are exuding this masculine energy. Why do you think that is? It's because of your trauma, because of your inner wound. I have to think back of why I carry all of this brawl, this toxic, like a man, they just say it for what it is with no filter. A woman, though, we must not say things without a filter. It is something that I have to really be aware of. Self-awareness as a key. Reinventing yourself is, as I said, is something to do with self-awareness. If you want to reinvent yourself, pay attention to how you talk, how you deliver your message. If you are a wounded woman like myself, most likely your default is to scream, yell, holler like a man. That is a masculine energy in a nutshell. And I have just learned that recently when I have reassessed my life, saying to myself, this is not me. This is not a feminine essence. A feminine, she is soft-spoken. She whispers sometimes. She does not brawl. She doesn't yell as much. A man, though, he yells. Sometimes he is loud because he's a man. That's what a man does. They have no filter. They just say it as it is. But as a woman, though, we must be able to speak listen before we speak, or think before we speak. I know it's easier said than done, but it's actually the difference between the communication of a female and a male. I have been listening to this woman, Elisabeth Elliot. She's a Christian and she's already passed away. And I was very careful of how she delivers the message. Soft-spoken. She is a godly woman who just speak in love and deliberate with no screaming and yelling. What do you see now in majority of women pastors? I'm not trying to be controversial here. A lot of women today that are preaching on the pulpit are screaming, yelling, as if, why do you need to do that? There's a difference. Because for some reason, we allow society or the culture dictates to us what a female should be. That for a woman, a preacher woman, she has to be loud. She has to project this aura of loudness. Sometimes it irritates my ears. I just don't know what it is. It's like there are certain voices when a woman is too loud. It drives me away from that kind of a woman. Obnoxiousness, overly cockiness. It just exudes self-importance or insecurity. Either one of those two, that detracts me from that kind of a woman. There are certain women, as I said, that speaks eloquently, gracefully, with a tone that is so soft. Because even Peter said, a woman must have two things that is precious in the eyes of God. A beautiful woman in the eyes of God is not the outwardly appearance. She has to be quiet and gentle. It has to be the hidden part of her heart. It is the hidden beauty of her heart. It is about being mysterious and secretive at the same time. But because we live in the society that tells women to always share, expose, tell me about what you're thinking about on Facebook wall. Please don't do that all the time. If you want to embody a feminine woman, you must be careful of what you share online. If you want to have a mystery in you, a woman that has to be, people will always be guessing of what you're doing, you must have a little bit of mystery. Not everybody should know your business, especially in your marriage or whatever is going on in your home. Because if you want to tap into this incorruptible beauty of gentleness and quietness, everybody must not know everything about what you want. Because if you're going to give out to everyone what you have going on in your life, you are very an attack. You're an easy target for people. And you wonder why people are targeting you. No wonder why people are mocking you, because you just open it. You just give them the doors into your life. And this is why influencers sometimes are targeted. You may not be aware of it, but there are narcissistic people out there who are targeting and following your life because you're an open book. There's no secrecy. You show everything you have online, and you wonder why you're being robbed, attacked, you're being followed, because you're exposing everything in your life. And that for me exudes masculinity. Men like to show off, right? They like to flex their muscles. They go to the gym, they flex their muscles. That's a male masculinity energy. When they bought something, hey dude, I just bought something, a gun perhaps, or a new shoes, they talk through the bodies. But a female though, sometimes we share it to our friends or family, but sometimes we just keep it to ourselves. Because as a woman, Paul wrote, she has to have incorruptible beauty, which is gentleness and quietness. She has hidden treasure of her heart. When Mary, mother of Jesus, was actually corrected by Jesus saying, "Woman, I am doing this for the will of my Father." When Jesus was missing for 3 days, he was 12 years old. He was in the temple, and Jesus, mother of Mary, said, "Why are you doing this to me, son? Have you not known we have been looking for you for 3 days? You are worrying us." And Jesus said to her, to his mother, "Woman, I am about my Father's business." And Mary's response, she kept it in her heart. She was trying to understand what Jesus was saying. She did not nag him. She did not ask, what are you talking about? What the hell are you saying? It doesn't make sense to me. You're 12 years old. What in the world are you talking about? But she kept the matter in her heart. She just probably thinks to herself, there are certain times in our life as a woman that we need to quiet ourselves and shut up. The best way, as Paul said, to win our husband is without a word. Without a word. There are times that I have to just not speak to my husband, is to not say anything. Men are not attracted by how many words we can say. Men are not that complicated, ladies, but we make things complicated. Men usually love to be in their own corner. Don't bother them if you don't need to bother them. But there are times that when my husband and I would argue, we would not talk. And it's the best time because you have space for each other. He can think, I can think, and there is serenity and there is peace. As a woman, when you want to embody this feminine energy, we are going to set the tone for our family. Do you know how powerful a woman is, especially if you exude this femininity? You are going to set the tone and the energy in your home. As God would say that a woman has the way to build her house and to tear it apart. Yes, that's how powerful women are. We as a woman, as a wife, we have this proclivity to tear our house down or to build it. How? By our words. This tongue, as Paul said or James said, it is unruly. It is a beast that can ignite a fire. And this is why if you want to be a feminine, as I am trying so hard to do, listen to how you say your words, how you deliver. I am very abrupt. I'm a straightforward shooter. I don't take just BS. I don't like nonsense. It's not really what you say. Majority of the complaint of my boys in my life, my husband, my son, even my father-in-law, it's how you say it. It's how you deliver the message. It's not what you say, but it's how you say it. That is something that I'm trying to work hard. It is something that are my weaknesses. As a woman that you have been wounded and you are surrounded with so many masculine in your life when you were used to work at this, majority are men, you're going to envelop that kind of energy. Abrupt, upfront, straightforward, but it works in a business setting, but not in a marriage. Not when you're raising children, because most likely you're going to have this friction and you're going to have conflict and you're going to butt heads in your marriage. And majority, every time I ask my husband, what is it that I am doing wrong? He always say the same thing. It's the way you talk. You are actually not aware of it. Well, I am aware of it now, that as a woman, a man cannot stand a woman that nags all the time. This is why they rather want to just be left alone. As I said, there's time to just give them space. Quietness is their way of communicating to you. Unless you know what you want. As I said, a man is, you give them something. They're not a mind reader as well. You tell them exactly what you want. Like, hey, I want you to pick up this or throw the garbage. Because as a woman, we expect our husbands and a man to know what we are thinking, but in fact, they don't know they don't know exactly what goes on into our mind. And so this is why, as a woman, if you want to exude in femininity, as I said, your appearance matter, your environment matters, and the way you speak matters. These are some of the things that you can envelop, embody, reinventing yourself. And another thing is not just your communication skills and the way that you listen and the way that you deliver your message, but as well as the things that you do. As I said, dancing to movement, the things that you do that can help you have this masculinity. Meditation, prayer, journal. When you tap into this soul and you listen to your heart, you will know that your soul needs rest. A woman that is a masculine functioning, she's always doing. She's like doing this, doing this. And you wonder why you are so stressed out as a woman. You're like anxiety. You're like so anxious. A feminine woman, she just do what she can do. Do the next thing. That is a feminine woman. When I am not in tune with my femininity, I am just out of my mind, rushing, doing this, and I'm driving myself nuts. And I wonder why at the end of the day, I'm so stressed out. I get so mad. There are times in my life when I was so snappy at my husband. I just do the cleaning, do the laundry, do this. I feel like I was a machine. I was not aware of what I was doing. I was just doing it for the sake of doing them. And eventually, I did not realize that I was functioning in my masculinity. Doing. A man is doing. They are that's a masculine energy. But if you're feminine energy, you are aware of how you do things. You are going to do this with grace and you're going to take your time. But if you're functioning in your masculinity, you're always doing things. As a woman, you must learn to rest, especially when it is your time, like the monthly cycle, your menstrual cycle as a woman. That is when you really have to take care of your body. It's so sad that as a woman, we are not really in tune or attuned with our body needs. But that is the time when you really need to give yourself the whole time of nurturing. That's when the time that I just take my time. If I need to take a nap for 2 hours, I will do that. I will not guilt myself. I used to guilt myself saying I can't take a nap because I have so many things to do, 3 things to do in my list or 5 things to do. I have learned that it's not worth my health. It's not worth getting aggravated because if I'm not taking care of my body and my health, I will not be productive. And I'm just going to be sloppy. I'm going to snap at my husband. I'm going to snap at my son because I'm PMSy. Especially in those times that we are dealing with our monthly cycle, ladies, that's when we really have to be kind to ourselves and have self-care. That's when the time to really have to just, you know what, I can't do so much today. I will tell my husband, this is my week that I just want to rest. I'm tired. I'm lethargic. My body's heavy. My body's in pain because your body is trying to tell you something. It's rest time. It's like bleeding. Can you imagine you're bleeding every month? 4 days, 5 days? That's actually too much coming out of your body as a woman. It's something that the mother nature or God created as a woman. And that's a time when God is saying you need to replenish, you need to relax, you need to get away and just do nothing too much, because before your period, you are like a superwoman. I have realized that is your superpower before your period. You get organized. You are so inventive. You become so creative. If you are a woman who is aware of yourself, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That is the time when I start decluttering things and trying to do things, or I'm so productive at that. But during your period, that's when the time you should take it easy. This is what I said. If you're a woman that is self-aware, you will know the cues and the signs of what your body is saying. But if you're clueless, because you're not paying attention to what your body needs, then you're just going to collapse. That's why women are carrying the tension. They have a lot of aches, back aches, pain over here, and they don't know why. Because you do not tap into your body's need. You don't listen to what your body needs. And praying as well is going to help you. It's going to makes you calm down as a woman. As I said, fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Charm is deceitful, beauty is fading, but those who fear the Lord, she shall be praised. And this is my last point, is that when you want to have a feminine woman, spend time with Jesus. You want to be a feminine woman? Spend time with Jesus at his feet. Martha and Mary. Martha, the sister of Mary, was visited by Jesus. 2 different characteristics. Martha was a busy bee, worried about how to impress Jesus. Of course, I probably would do the same thing like Martha. She's like, Jesus is in my house. I have to prepare this food. I don't know what else to cook. I mean, here comes Jesus and his 12 disciples, the greatest man of all time. Of course, if you were Martha and if I was Martha, I would probably be like trying to impress Jesus of the next meal I could cook. However, Mary. She could care less of impressing Jesus. She sat at his feet. She just relaxes. She listens to what he has to say. There is a big distinction of masculine energy, trying to impress. Feminine, she just rested at the feet of Jesus. Because Martha probably was trying so hard to impress Jesus that she was so restless in her soul. That's why Jesus said, Martha, Martha, Martha. I'm not talking about Martha Stewart. You worry about the things that does not matter. What a conviction, right, women? Sometimes we worry about the things that do not matter. They don't really matter sometimes. Why do we worry so much about our hair, our clothes, our makeup? I mean, they do matter, but that is not the priority. The laundry can wait sometimes, but praying cannot wait. Doing your devotion and journaling cannot wait. These are the things that you can feed your soul as a woman. Praying, these are the things that we can feed our soul. So Jesus pointed out to Mary, Mary has chosen the best of the best part. She learned to rest. She was not trying to impress me. She was not trying to see what can I feed this man who just visited me. Jesus is at my house. Mary could care less. She saw that it was her opportunity to relax, to rest. She perceived that the Messiah, Emmanuel, came in, and she said, this is my chance to cast my burdens to Jesus so that I don't have to carry this burden on my own. That's exactly what Jesus said in Matthew 11:28. Come to me, all of you who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light. So Jesus is also caring for the woman. He cared for the woman Mary, and that's why he invited Martha, saying, come on, Martha. You worry so much about the things, because as a woman, we do worry a lot of things. Our children, our spouses, finances, our health, our hair, our makeup. I mean, laundry to do, dishes piling up. I mean, what to cook next. We do have a lot of things to worry about as a woman. We carry a lot of loads, and that's why sometimes as a woman, it's hard to navigate things in life. It's hard to juggle a lot of things, because as a woman, we are here on this earth to be man's helpmeet, not a helper. We do can help them, but this we are trying to sustain them. We're trying to be their equal partner, to compensate what they're lacking. A man can't do it alone, honey. They can't. That's why God created a woman to compensate what's missing in a man. And we are that missing puzzle. As I said, we are the half that God said there's a missing partner that this woman needs. That this man needs, rather. So that's why when Mary had a chance to be with the Savior, she just took it. She said, this is my opportunity to rest, finally. The man who is the creator of the universe is in flesh inside my house. I will spend my time and energy. Mary focused on the eternity in the spiritual matters that has far greater value. But Martha, she forgot one thing. She got too focused on the now. Like, I need to impress him. I have to cook the greatest delicacy because here's Jesus. This is where sometimes as a woman, we lose sight of our feminine energy because we are always about the doing part. We don't know how to be. Être. To be. Just be still and know that I am God. I'm not saying that you're not doing anything, because some people are like, oh, you're trying to say that we should be lazy. Nope, that's not what I'm saying. There is a time that you have to grind, and there's a time for you to rest. Everything has its season. A time to plant, a time to harvest, a time to speak, and a time to be quiet. Everything has its time. Depending on your season of your life, when your body is telling you you need to decompress, you need to release this stress, then you should listen to that. That's why Jesus is always inviting us women, and every man, of course, there too, to come to him because we are weary and tired and heavy laden. The world is too much to bear sometimes. We have a lot of responsibilities that is bombarding us left and right, and you wonder why people are stressed out. We are just too chaotic because it all starts here. Heart. If we don't take care of our soul, we don't take care of our heart. That's why you wonder why all the things in front of you is collapsing. Because without the internal issues you have to deal with, the external is just going to collapse. It is the invisible sign of the visible reality. First of all, you must take care of your heart and your soul and join what Jesus said. I want you to come. I want you to listen to me. I want you to dine with me and come with me and just tell me about your problems. And then you can go on. And then I can give you peace. I can make you joyful in the midst of adversity. I will carry you through whatever it is that you're going through. Just listen to Jesus and spend time with him, and I guarantee you, you're never going to be the same again as a woman. Like Mary, she took the plunge and she said, I will not going to waste my time like my sister trying to impress Jesus. No, I'm going to spend time with him. I'm going to choose to spend time with this man. I mean, this is the flesh, the God of all the gods, and then he just came into this earth. The word became flesh and dwelt among us, and Mary had recognized that. And she said, I am not going to miss out this greatest opportunity. I'm going to take this opportunity to spend time with this man, Jesus, at his feet. She humbly just plunged herself at his feet and listening to what he has to say. And probably after that, her life was never been the same. So this is why you can be like Martha or you can be like Mary. Of course, sometimes we do need to, again, in and out of those two kinds of energy, masculinity and femininity. That wasn't the purpose of today's video, but somehow something tells me that as a woman, we need to revisit the basic of how to become a feminine, because we have been bombarded in this generation of how to be a masculine. Be a woman because God created you to be a woman. If he would have created you to be a man, he would have, but you're not. Okay, so that's why as a woman, you must make sure to take care of your soul, take care of your trauma, take care of your issues, and go out with Jesus. And I'm pretty sure when you look back in your life, you are going to be unrecognizable. We are not here to only fix the outside appearance, ladies. You can fix your hair, your teeth, and your skin all you want, but if you don't deal with your heart, with this heart, if you don't deal with your inner issues, you can still be an ugly duckling. I have seen women who can look good on the outside, but they have a lot of bitterness, resentment, impatience, jealousy in their heart, because you cannot dress up your pain. You cannot mask your pain. You cannot put a lipstick on your pain. Like you cannot put a lipstick on a pig. A pig is still a pig. Okay? That's why Jesus said you cannot throw pearls on a swine. Even if you can dress up impeccably in all the freaking pearls and diamonds, but if you have a rotten soul full of toxicity, jealousy, you're still nothing but a broken, wounded woman. That's why on my channel, I always emphasize body, soul, and spirit. We need to prosper in these three things: body, soul, and spirit. As I always would like to emphasize, that's what Paul said. My prayer for you and my hope for you is to prosper in body, in spirit, and your soul. Our body is important because this is the vessel of God. If without this body, we're going to die and God cannot use us. But without your soul that is healthy, God cannot use you either, because you're too broken, you're too wounded, you're too insecure. And if your spirit is also dead, God cannot use you because you're of the devil. You're either the daughter of the devil or the daughter of God himself. So this is why Paul said you must be prospering in body, soul, and spirit. Without those three, you cannot function highly as a feminine woman. That's why you cannot just focus on the physical body, but you also focus on your soul and your spirit. And this is where the disconnect that I see today in self-development. They always talk about how to be attractive, lose weight, be fit, liposuction. All of that is nonsense if you don't deal with your heart. I bet you another $1, which is $3 right now, majority of women who gain too much weight, because they have insecurity in them, they have wound. They eat their pain away, or they drink their pain away. They eat. Instead of dealing with the pain in their heart, they will overeat, overindulgent because of the trauma. Because I remembered a woman that told me a story. She gets so really heavy, overweight, and I asked her, if you don't mind me asking, I asked her gently as possible as I could and respectfully, how did you become overweight? And this is what she said. When I was a little girl, when my mom and my dad would fight, when my mom would be yelling, my dad was an irate man and he would be so abusive to her, she used to hide in her bedroom. And you know what she did? Bring all of this food and she would overeat because she doesn't want to deal with the things that was happening in her bedroom. It is a sad story, but it's true. And that's what she said. Over time, I turned to food to comfort me. I turned to food to make me forget about my parents' destructive behavior. And it's sad, isn't it? And sometimes as a woman, we do things that we're not really aware of why we're doing it, but because it's our comfort, it is the way it's our defense mechanism. But for some reason, we don't think the outcome or the consequences of that eventually later on. And that's what she said. That's why I have gained too much weight, because as a little girl, I lived in an abusive relationship where I turned to food to make me happy or to make me forget. And this is why trauma, I don't want to cry, is such, I can't do this. Trauma is really something that can impact a child's life, even if you don't want to admit it, but it does. So this is why when you want to heal as a woman, you have to deal with your trauma, because it can make a difference in your life. And it's sad that we just want to brave on and put a mask, but we can't do that anymore. We have to be able to look at life for what it is and says, you know what? Life is hard and messy. Life is complicated. We cannot just say everybody has to be happy all the time. I'm sick and tired of those people trying to mask. Oh, you're depressed? We have something for you. You need to be happy all the time. I mean, why would you expect people to be happy all the time? Life is complicated. Relationship is hard. This is why people sometimes, they expect us to always be happy and put on this mask. It's not reality. It is so bogus. And I'm sick and tired of people out there who just wants women to just always be put a smiling face on and pretend like everything's happy. Oh, you're so sad and depressed? Well, of course. Why? Because I'm dealing with my toxic husband sometimes, or sometimes I'm dealing with difficult relationship. I'm dealing with a child that's sick. I'm dealing with maybe people in my life that are in-laws that are hard sometimes. I'm dealing with a health issues. People, sometimes you just have to really allow people to cry and to just be themselves. Not always label, are you sad? Something's wrong with you? Well, of course, look around you. People are sad. People are not always happy because we're dealing with a lot of crap behind closed doors that nobody knows, that they have no one to talk to. This is why trauma, as I said, it all starts in your childhood years, and it will have implications, consequences after many years. And if you don't deal with that, that's why many people today carry that baggage with them wherever they go. I'm still trying to heal from my baggage from the past. And sometimes it's so hard to get out of that, because it's part of learning and unlearning. And if you really want to have this femininity in you, you got to start there, honey. You have to start with your demons. You have to deal with your skeleton in the closet. Let it out. Let it come out. And make sure that no serpent is still lurking, slithering around in your corner, because it's going to haunt you eventually. It's going to make you say, hey, I'm still right here. Yes, you can be fabulous all you want and put a makeup on your lipstick all you want, but guess what? I'm still right here. You think you can just eat me away, or you can just drink me away, or you can put a pill in and pop a pill all you want? You can't dress up your pain, honey. You can't. One way or another, that dragon, that serpent is going to come out. Outbursts of anger, jealousy, impatience. You're going to snap at your kids. And this is why generational curses continues on. It goes on and on and on. Because your trauma, and I have realized this, and this is my last point, I promise. I have realized that my issues of impatience, and I just curse at my son sometimes when I'm upset, it's not me. It was my parents. Because generational curses continues when nobody is willing to break that. Meaning to say, you should not continue of what your parents did to you. Just because you were abused by your parents, or they yelled at you, or they treated you poorly, it doesn't mean you have to do the same thing to your kids. You should be able to be the grown woman and says, I am not going to do what my dad did to me or my mom did to me. That's the only way for you and I to break this generational curse. But if you're not willing to do that, that's why the generational curse of pain and suffering continues on for many years, because someone in their life, they just copy it. Remember what Jesus said, you are known by your fruit. If you come from a tree that is rotten, that is dysfunctional family, because all of us came from a dysfunctional family. We all came from a dysfunctional family, okay? Nobody just wants to talk about it. But when you have been in this world, we all came from a dysfunctional family. You may not admit it, but we all came from a dysfunctional family. But unless you're going to create a new generational, a rescript, you need to rescript the way this book I've been reading, 7 Habits of Influential People. You need to have a rescript. You cannot continue of what your parents did to you, or what your mom or what your dad did to you. If your dad was a yeller or a cursor like my dad, he yelled a lot. Every time he was mad, he would curse at me, and he would call me the B word and this effing this and effing that. And I sometimes, it will come out of me. I'm like, where did this all come from? Not only was I influenced in college with those people in my college, but also my dad used to use this profanity when he was upset. He would just curse and yell and use the B word and F-U-C-K and all these things. And the same thing with impatience with my mom, because she was dealing with her turmoil. So sometimes I would just look back and I say, when you truly on your own, Glenna, would you really do that to your son? Because it is something that we have enveloped from our parents. It is something that we have copied behavior from the people that we lived with, or the environment that we live with. This is why children usually absorbed everything. They copy their environment. And we think that as a grown woman, that's who we are. But when you really look at your life and you listen to yourself, you would say, this is not who I am. This is not how God wants me to behave. This is not how God wants me to function. That's why Jesus said, let the children come. Do not deny them to come to me. Remember when Jesus was dealing with these kids and the disciples had sent them away? Don't bring these kids to Jesus. But Jesus said, no, let them come. Because these children are the first one in the kingdom of God. So children is very important in the eyes of God. Sometimes we think that children are the least of the least, but in the kingdom of God, they're the first one. We have this idea that, oh, well, we as an adult is the first. No, children are very precious in the eyes of God. That's why when a child is wounded and she has trauma and she doesn't deal with that when she becomes an adult, it becomes a problem, and she is becoming destructive of herself, because it all starts from her childhood years. And I'm still healing from that. And that's why I invite you to heal. We need to bring awareness to this world that it's time for us to heal. Healing is a journey. It is a process that if we really are trying so hard to help each other and be there for each other, I think there will be a better world to live, wouldn't you think? Because majority of the destructive behavior that we have is because it all comes from our childhood years. It all comes from there. I don't care what you say, but I really believe that our pain originates from our childhood upbringing, our environment, our culture, our parents, our family. You know, they're just humans like you and me. I make mistakes too. And when you do, you learn to apologize. Okay? I try to apologize to my son when I make mistakes, because we're human beings. That's just how life is. You're never going to be perfect, and I'm never going to be perfect. But at the end of the day, The least that you can do is to apologize. If you have hurt someone intentionally or perhaps unintentionally, is to apologize, and it's something that you and I must learn. So that is all. It's getting long. I gotta go. My goodness, the time is so fast. I love you, and I hope to see you in my next video.